So UFC Fight Night Pavlovich versus Blaydes is going to be coming up, and I am still away from home. I'm still visiting family. You know how it be. I'm using my laptop right now, using my laptop camera, laptop microphone, and everything like that. I am officially now part of the We Want Picks team, but when I do get home and I get my microphone and my setup all good to go, I will do a more official announcement and kind of what that means. But if you do want to sign up to the We Want Picks Premium, you get their picks, their bets, and you're also going to get my premium content as well. I'm kind of doing betting articles and just articles about the fights, about fights that's not UFC related, like Bellator picks, Cage Warriors picks and bets, you name it. It's kind of all on there, as well as the We Want Picks team's UFC bets. They've got a lot of bets. There's a lot of premium bets on there as well, and there's a lot of free stuff that you can access as well on the We Want Picks side. So check out their channel, check out their premium. If you do decide to sign up using Artem, you'll get a 3-day free trial so you can check it out for yourself. And now that that's all out of the way, let's get into UFC Fight Night Pavlovich versus Blaydes. I just did my Angelo style sales pitch. I will get it down to a T. If you guys have watched the We Want Picks channel, you'll understand what I mean by that. Angelo does have a sales pitch, which he does love to use, and he is pretty good at doing it. But let's get into the first pick of the night. We've got Blaydes taking on Brady Highstand. I like Brady Highstand in the matchup as the slight underdog, I believe, as well. I'm not confident in it at all. It's not something I'm going to bet. It's not something I'm going to play. But he's 6-2 and he hasn't fought that good of competition. You know, the first time he fought someone with a win in professional MMA was Chad Anheliger, who did go on to be in the UFC, but you know, he's just fought so many guys that haven't even got wins in MMA. He got a lot of experience on the Ultimate Fighter, which was good. He beat Fernie Garcia, which was good. This is a very good stylistic matchup for Brady Highstand because he is going to wrestle Bernard Bakare, who is pretty much a pure striker with power in the hand. So if Bernard Bakare is going to win this fight, it's going to be by KO, likely in the first round. But if Brady Highstand is going to get it done, it's going to be with the wrestling. And I did not pick Brady Highstand to win his last fight, but I think he gets it done over Bernard Bakare. I just think this is like a perfect matchup for Brady Highstand to use his wrestling to take down Bernard Bakare and win a decision. I'm not confident in it. Maybe my pick will change. But if you do look at the odds, you've got Brady Highstand sitting at about plus 150, plus 140, and Bernard Bakare is about minus 170, minus 180 sort of area. We now move up the card. You've got Priscilla Cachoeira taking on Karine Silva. I like Karine Silva here. I kind of like her to win by decision, but a lot of people have her to win by submission, and that is because Priscilla Cachoeira's ground game isn't too flash. She is actually quite a good striker, though. She did just beat Ariana Lipski by KO. She did beat Jeon Kim, which could arguably go Jeon Kim's way, but it was still a fight that took place on the feet. She TKO'd Gina Mazzalani on the feet. She got subbed by Jillian Robertson in a fight which she was like gouging her eyes. That was crazy, but anyway. Karine Silva, she's going to wrestle Cachoeira, and she's going to grapple Cachoeira. And that's kind of, I think, all you really need to do to beat Priscilla, because Priscilla is going to beat a lot of girls on the feet. But when it comes to the wrestling and grappling, I think that she's not really all there yet. And I think like a young up-and-coming Karine Silva, who did just get a submission over Poliana Batalio. She did just beat Kehi Yan as well, who had a very good record. She hasn't even fought since, Kehi Yan. I'm very interested to see what she does in the future, because she's got such a good record, 22-3. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm going with Silva by decision or submission. I think Silva is actually the slight no, she's not. She's the favorite. Minus 160 to plus 120 or so for Priscilla Cachoeira. We move up the card now. Francis Marshall is taking on William Gomez. Francis Marshall is making rapid improvements in his MMA career. That was proven in his last fight. I picked Marcelo Rojo to beat Francis Marshall. Francis Marshall made Marcelo Rojo look worse than he is. Marcelo Rojo is a better fighter than what showed up to that night, but it wasn't Rojo, it was Marshall that just looked incredible. He fought Conor Matthews, and there was a lot of red flags in that fight. Conor Matthews wasn't the best fighter. I know he's 5-0, but he had fought a worse level of competition than what Francis Marshall had fought. 7-6, 24-30, and 3-2. Marshall genuinely did not have the experience against the best guys, but this guy is making rapid improvements, and you saw it in the last fight. This guy's 24 years old. When I say rapid improvements, I mean it. This guy's getting better every single fight. He looked so much better in his UFC fight than he did on Dana White's Contender Series. He looked so much better on Dana White's Contender Series than he did in the past as well, although they were all pretty quick finishes. But I think he does beat William Gomez. William Gomez was brought on. It was a somewhat short notice fight against Jano Erens. I picked Gomez to win that fight as well, and it was in France as well when UFC come to France, I think for the first time as well. You look at him, he's beaten good guys. I think Francis Marshall can strike with him. I think Francis Marshall can wrestle him. I like Marshall to win a decision here. I think Marshall can kind of get it done kind of wherever the fight goes. I like him to win the matchup. He's about -200, and William Gomez is about +150, thereabouts. We now move on. Muhammad Usman taking on Junior Tafa, and prepare for a long one, because I am going to talk about Junior Tafa a lot. I am a huge Junior Tafa fan, man. I really do like Junior Tafa in this matchup. I like Junior Tafa in the UFC. Junior Tafa was meant to make his pro MMA debut on Dana White's Contender Series in 2021, but I think they might have just said, hey, listen, can you get some experience elsewhere? And Junior Tafa literally just did the old Max Holloway bit, and he just did. He just fought 4 times in MMA. In 8 months, he fought a guy with a losing record, and then he fought a guy with 15-12. In Australia, I think that might have been in Australia as well. And then in Brave, I think that was over on the other side of the world somewhere. And then he fought Tsuyoshi Sudario, KO'd him in the first round. All first-round KOs. I think this was a second-round KO. I think Usman's getting KO'd, man, in the first round as well. Usman was getting smacked up by Mitchell Sipe on The Ultimate Fighter. He wasn't really getting smacked up by Zach Flarker, but Zach Flarker was beating him until he got the crazy KO. I don't think all the sauce is going to save Usman, man. Muhammad Usman is like Kamaru Usman. Didn't get any sauce. Like, Usman just said, give me the sauce. And Usman has all the sauce in the Usman family. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. But Muhammad Usman, he's in his mid-30s, got acne everywhere, dude. He's built crazy. There's no way. There's just no way he's not saucing. But Junior Tafa, former top 10, former ranked glory kickboxer as well. Like, we're talking about guys that KO'd people and multiple times. It was not really KO'd, but knocked people down 3 times in 90 seconds against Prong Xiaolu. He knocked down Anthony McDonald 3 times in 2.5 minutes. He KO'd Hayes Wilson in 90 seconds. In glory kickboxing, as a top 10 heavyweight in glory kickboxing. This guy is really good, man. Then just KO'd David Tuoloa at the end of the 3rd round. In boxing, like, he just fights, man. Just fights. He just loves to scrap. He loves to fight. He's had a couple of cancelled fights. He pulled out of his Waldo Cortez Acosta fight. Due to injury. I think got surgery on his shoulder recently, so he's coming back quickly. But I just think Junior Tafa just don't give a fuck. Like, here he is, you know, he got surgery 2 months ago, and here he is, dude. I think he gets it done. I think KO's Usman, and I think he probably calls out Waldo Cortez Acosta, because him and Waldo, man, they're beefing a little bit, you know what I mean? So, hey, that's a fight I want to see. Are we like 5-0 versus 9-0 if everything kind of goes together? I like Tafa in this matchup. I like Tafa by KO in the first. Usman was getting smacked up by Mitchell Sipe, who is not as good as Junior Tafa. I don't think Usman's going to get the takedowns going, the wrestling going. I think Tafa's going to probably KO him before he even get the opportunity. I'm so excited for this debut. I really cannot wait for it. But Norma Dumont is taking on Carol Rosa. I'm going with Norma Dumont. I'm not that confident about it. I don't really know why Carol Rosa is moving up to 145. I don't even know why this fight is happening. Like, can we please just get rid of women's 145? The division genuinely doesn't exist. Amanda Nunes hasn't defended that belt in a long time. Women's 145 is gone. You know, they got rid of Megan Anderson, Chris Cyborg left, and like now it's just Norma Dumont, Danielle Wolf, who's now 1-1 in MMA, and Macy Chiasson. And Amanda Nunes at 145. That's it. That's the whole division. So I don't know what Norma Dumont's fighting for, because if she beats Carol Rosa, she's not going to get a title shot at 145. It's such a weird division. I am waiting for them to get rid of it. But anyway, in the meantime, I think Norma Dumont beats Carol Rosa. Carol Rosa, I don't even know why she's moving up to 145, but whatever. The opportunity must have presented itself. I just like Dumont in the matchup. Rosa just had a close fight with Lena Landsberg. Just ain't that good of a look. She lost to Sarah McMahon. Norma Dumont just looked really good over Danielle Wolf, and I know Danielle Wolf was 1-0, but she was a very good boxer, and Dumont kind of outstruck her in the matchup, took her down a couple times. I think knocked her down at one point as well. Just looked really good. I like Norma Dumont, so does everyone, but I think she's actually the underdog. She's plus 125, so yeah, I take it as it is. I liked Norma Dumont in the matchup. We'll now move on. Rhino Yaya taking on Montel Jackson, and I could not believe it when I saw what the odds are for this fight. Montel Jackson is minus 600. Where is he? Montel Jackson, minus 600 on the odds, minus 670 on one sportsbook. You can get Rhino Yaya at plus 420, plus 450. I am picking Montel Jackson, and I am picking Montel Jackson by KO. But why is he minus 700 as a favorite? I don't think Montel Jackson is should be a minus 700 favorite. Rhino Yaya is going to try and take him down. He's going to try and grapple him. I think Montel Jackson keeps it on the feet. I think Montel Jackson knocks him out. I think Montel Jackson's the much better striker in the matchup. But I don't understand why he's minus 700 as a favourite. Can someone maybe let me know? I think these odds are absolutely crazy. Let me know what you think of those odds. But I've got Jackson by KO. He's knocked down, I believe, every opponent he's ever fought in the UFC, win or loss as well. But why is he minus 700? I'm picking Jackson by KO, but I don't like those odds whatsoever. Ricky Glenn's taking on Christos Giagos. I'm an honest guy. I like to be honest, and I'm going to be honest. I don't really know, honestly. I'm picking Ricky Glenn. I believe he's actually a minus 200 favourite, but I don't think Christos Giagos is that bad. You know, he just lost to Arman Sarukian, which happens, and Thiago Moises, who's borderline top 15 in the UFC lightweight division. He might even be top 15. Drakkar Klose lost as well. Drakkar Klose is a guy that floats in and out of the number 15 ranking as well in the UFC at lightweight. But Sean Soriano, that winner hasn't aged well at all. Carlton Minus isn't even in the UFC anymore. I don't know what's going on with him, but Ricky Glenn, I'm just going to pick him to win, but he hasn't fought for a year and a half. I genuinely don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I watched the Ricky Glenn versus Grant Dawson fight again, and Dawson was taking him down, controlling him, and then Ricky Glenn got a 10-8 round over, gassed out Grant Dawson, but I just don't know, man. We just don't see Ricky Glenn fight at all. I'm going to go with him, but let's just move on before I kind of talk myself into looking like an idiot. But it's too late. Anyway, let's move on. Jeremiah Wells versus Matt Simmonsberger. I like Matt Simmonsberger in the matchup. Jeremiah Wells is a 36-year-old power puncher. He's got so much power in the hands. He just KO'd Court McGee. And that means something. Court McGee has never been KO'd by like that in his entire career. I'm pretty sure that was actually one of the first times Court McGee's ever even been finished by knockout or TKO. He did beat Blood Diamond, but that win has aged so poorly. Blood Diamond looked really bad in his last fight. I think it was over Lewis Koske or Ryan Koske, one of the two. He KO'd Wiley Alves, which is a good win. It was a good win at the time. Still is kind of a good win, but Wiley Alves is so on and off. He's 36 years old, Jeremiah Wells, that is. He's taken a lot of time off, 8 months as well, which is kind of interesting because at this age, Jeremiah Wells, he's 36, he should be kind of hustling, he should be fighting maybe every 5 months, every 6 months, but Matt Simmonsberger just beat Jake Matthews 4 months ago, he's basically got a pretty quick turnaround, and he knocks down Jake Matthews all the time, and that fight looked really good on the feet. It had just power in the hands, and they knocked him down consistently. Lost to Alex Morono, sorry. That's not really that bad of a loss, though. Showed really good wrestling against AJ Fletcher, and he KO'd Martin Sano. But of course he did. The GOAT. Martin Sano versus Blood Diamond is honestly the fight I think that needs to happen. I don't know if Martin Sano still trains or what's going on, but Blood Diamond versus Martin Sano, please book it. That's the fight to do. I like Matt Simmonsberger. He is the underdog in this matchup. Matt Simmonsberger is... I'm trying to find him, man. Plus 125, plus 115, minus 148, minus 150 or so for Jeremiah Wells. I do like Simmonsberger in this matchup. I do like him to kind of fight Jeremiah Wells from range. All he's really got to try and do, which is so much easier said than done, is avoid those power shots from Wells. And I think he will. I think we see Simmonsberger get a late TKO or a decision. And now we will move up the card. My laptop, if you guys don't know, is horrendously slow, which is why I record on my PC now. But it is what it is. Yasmin Lucinda taking on Brogan Walker. I'm going to say hindsight a lot in this one. And in hindsight, losing to Juliana Miller is a really bad look. Juliana Miller just looked completely lost against Veronica Hardy, Veronica Macedo, and Brogan Walker lost to her. She didn't look good in that fight either, and she got finished in the third round with Juliana Miller. You know what I mean? Like before that, she lost to Erin Blanchfield by decision and Pearl Gonzalez, but Pearl Gonzalez, UFC fighter or former UFC fighter, she's now boxing, but you know what I mean. It's not that bad of a loss. Yasmin Lucindo, come on, UFC, took on Yasmin Uruguay. I think it might have even been somewhat short notice as well. No one really knew anything about Yasmin Lucindo. There wasn't a lot of tape on Yasmin Lucindo. She's only 21 years old, was only 20 years old at the time. We're like, man, like, who is Yasmin Lucindo? What's she going to bring? And she is good, man. Yasmin Lucindo, she's got really good striking. She throws good volume. She went to war with Yasmin Uruguay, and I like Yasmin Lucindo on the feet in this matchup. I think she can beat up Brogan Walker, who's almost 34 years old now, trying to cut down to 115 pounds after spending tough, the Ultimate Fighter at 125. I think Lucinda really gets it done, man. I think Lucinda's going to throw volume. I think she's going to land on Walker. She can get takedowns if she wants to. I don't even know if that's her game, because all we've seen from her really is that Uruguay fight, which she looks really good. She had a really good account for herself. Her stock raised, whatever. Her stock went up in a loss in that fight. And I think she's going to beat Brogan Walker. She's minus 300, though, which is very wide. But I think it's justified. Brogan Walker just lost to Juliana Miller. Not a good look. It's just not a good look. Bobby Green taking on Jared Gordon now, and I do like Bobby Green in the matchup here. Jared Gordon, he fought Paddy Pimblett. I thought he beat Paddy Pimblett. I think most of the world thought he beat Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett's stock went down a lot. Jared Gordon's stock went up a bit in that fight. But honestly, in my opinion, I don't think Jared Gordon looked all that great in that fight either, you know what I mean? Because Paddy Pimblett was, I know everyone just kind of says it, but it is true. Paddy Pimblett was leaving his chin up in the air, and Gordon was catching him, but Gordon just wasn't really throwing the strikes he needed to land on that chin that was right there in front of him. I think if Bobby Green was in the exact same fight as the Paddy Pimblett fight, Bobby Green would have KO'd Paddy Pimblett within 2 rounds. I genuinely do think that. And I do think Bobby Green will beat Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's also been chinned a fair few times. He's been KO'd 4 times in his career. Bobby Green could land on him, man. This is the guy that KO'd Raging Ally Quinta. Obviously an Ally Quinta that maybe wasn't really fully committed to MMA, but he still KO'd him. You know what I mean? Badly too. He beat up Nasrat Haqparast, showed levels to Nasrat Haqparast. I think in his last fight against Drew Dober, he didn't look like the same guy that fought Rafael Fiziev, but obviously styles do make fights. But I think Bobby Green is going to beat Jared Gordon, man. I'm pretty confident he does it too. I think he gets it done by decision or KO, keeps it on the feet, outboxes Gordon. Gordon could wrestle, he could clinch, he could do what he wants to. I think he beats Gordon, and honestly, the winner of this fight probably does fight Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett really wants the Jared Gordon rematch. The fans kind of seem to want to see Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett, so let's do it. Hey, what's Green up to, though? He said this might be his retirement fight. I mean, he's old. He's 36 and a half at lightweight. He's definitely not getting any younger, but I think Bobby Green's still got a fair few good wins in him, honestly, but it's up to him, not me, obviously, but I do think Green gets it done. I do think he beats Jared Gordon. Brad Tavares taking on Bruno Silva. I do like Brad Tavares here. Brad Tavares has been in the UFC for a very long time. If you guys don't know, Brad Tavares was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 11 in 2010. He's been in the UFC for 13 years. This guy's been in the UFC for such a long time. And if only he had a bit more success, we really would be talking about Tavares as a Hall of Famer. But unfortunately, he just never really made it to the top. And he was kind of always that guy recently anyway that has fed to up-and-coming guys like Adesanya on the come-up. Edmund Shabazian on the come-up. ACJ, wasn't really on the come-up, but he's still a good fighter. Amari Akhmedov is an older guy at the time, but he still beat him, And then Dricus du Plessis on the come-up as well. Tavares is going to beat Bruno Silva, in my opinion. Tavares can mix in takedowns. He can wrestle. He can also strike. I like Tavares on the feet against Bruno Silva. I like him wrestling Bruno Silva. I like him wrestling Bruno Silva a lot. Bruno Silva's got 19 KOs. And he's lost by submission 6 times, and he's never won by submission. So that kind of tells you something. He's not a grappler. He's here to strike. And I think Brad Tavares is going to be there to strike with him. But I think Brad Tavares is also going to be there to wrestle him. And I like that from Tavares. Do I think Tavares maybe gets a submission over Bruno Silva? I would be surprised, but I do like Tavares to win. I'm kind of more siding the decision like everyone else, but his chance maybe gets a TKO, gets a KO. I mean, we did just see Bruno Silva get knocked down by the legendary GM3. The legendary GM3. But anyway, Tavares is about minus 150. I like those odds a lot. And Bruno Silva is about plus 120. So I like Tavares a lot at minus 150. I really do. Now we move on up the card. Song Yadong taking on Ricky Simone. I am a huge Song Yadong fan. I really like him, and I really do. He's got a great style. He's looking really good against Corey Sandhagen, in my opinion. I thought it could have been 2-2. It was either 3-1 Sandhagen or 2-2. Going into the 5th, but he did get stopped due to the cut, which was fair. It really was a fair stoppage due to the cut. That cut went on for about 2 or 3 rounds. It was bad. It was going into the eye. It was a very bad cut, and it made sense to stop the fight. But good fight, though. Good fight. Song Yadong looked really good. I thought the stock went up in a loss. That's Corey Sandhagen, and then he did beat Marlon Moraes by KO, but who hasn't KO'd Marlon Moraes at this point? Carried Julio Arce, that's the good win, but Casey Kenny, who hasn't really fought since, and he did lose to Kyler Phillips, who just got done by USADA. So, hey, Kyler Phillips could have been sourcing in that fight. You don't know. But anyway, Ricky Simone just beat Jack Shaw. I picked him to beat Jack Shaw, and he did beat Jack Shaw, just a stronger wrestler in a fight which both guys were kind of trying to wrestle in. I beat the Sun Self that happens. Color, I mean, he beat that happens. Took him to decision, which isn't that good in hindsight, huh? But I do like Ricky Simone. I think he's making improvements. I think there's such a good chance Song Yadong KOs him, though. But I like Ricky Simone to wrestle, man. Maybe my pick changes. It really could, but Simone looked really good against Jack Shaw. Jack Shaw's moved up to 145, which is just a weird move because he wasn't big at 135 at all. But, yeah, I like Simone to wrestle with Song Yadong here. Kind of put doubt in Song Yadong. Like, he's not going to be as wild. He's not going to be throwing. He's not going to be looping in a bit as much as he would be if he wasn't worrying about the takedown. I think Ricky Simone's going to put the fear of the takedown in him in the first minute of the fight. Honestly, I don't think Ricky Simone's going to mess around with Song Yadong on the feet. You shouldn't mess around with Song Yadong on the feet. This guy is 25. He really could be a future champion. Like, Song Yadong truly could be. He's only 25 years old. He's got years and years and years in the UFC if he keeps winning. You know, I think Song Yadong really could be a champion at one point, or if not, at least fight for a title. But unfortunately, I don't think it's now. I think Simone does beat him in the matchup. And you look at him, Song Yadong's the underdog. Ricky Simone's about minus 130, minus 140, thereabouts. I do like Simone as a slight favorite. But now we move on to the main event. And this is the main event. I am so excited for this main event. I really am. Curtis Blaydes taking on Sergey Pavlovich. I think when the fight was first announced, I was kind of leaning Sergey Pavlovich, but I think there might have been a bit of recency bias, and also just a love for Sergey Pavlovich's fighting style. Like, these guys are young heavyweights, man. We're talking about a 32-year-old heavyweight in Curtis Blaydes. We're talking about a 31-year-old heavyweight in Sergey Pavlovich. And I do think a title shot is on the line. I don't know what they're doing with Stipe and Jones. It seems like Jones has gone radio silent on Dana White. I apologize. So maybe the winner of this would fight Stipe for an interim belt while Jones does his thing, because apparently Dana White can't get in contact with John Jones. Like, they don't know what's going on with John Jones. It's a weird situation, but whatever. Curtis Blaydes has improved his striking greatly, which did kind of hurt him a little bit when he did fight Derek Lewis and got KO'd badly. But since then, he just KO'd Chris Dalkaus in a pure striking fight. He just beat Tom Aspinall. You know, it wasn't injury. It wasn't injury. The fight didn't last long at all, so we can't really know. But styles make fights, and Curtis Blaydes is one of the best wrestlers in the division. He's wrestled. He's taken down guys all the time. He's going to take down Sergey Pavlovich here. I know Sergey Pavlovich does have a crazy, I think, is it a judo or a sambo background? Something along those lines. But the one time we've seen Sergey Pavlovich put on his back, he was dominated by Alistair Overeem, and he didn't really have anything, and I kind of do think we might see a repeat of that. I know everyone, or some people picking Pavlovich are like, man, like, you guys are talking about a fight that happened in 2018, that was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to say that? But the thing is, we've got no tape on Pavlovich. Like, you could say, oh, yeah, you do. You got 5 fights. Yeah, you got 5 fights that ended in the first round. Like, and most of them in the first minute recently. All the tape we have of Sergey Pavlovich genuinely is Pavlovich charging forward, abusing his long reach, because this is what he does. He stands in the pocket with his opponent, and he throws straight punches, and his opponent can't hit him because he's got an 84-inch reach. So he can stand, his reach is a cheat code. He can stand in the pocket, and he can throw bombs, and his opponents will throw back, and they can't hit him because he's got such a long reach. But he's fighting Curtis Blaydes now. Curtis Blaydes has an 80-inch reach. And Curtis Blaydes is going to take him down. Sergey Pavlovich is going to charge forward like a maniac, like he always does. And all Curtis Blaydes needs to do is just duck under and use his wrestling and take him down. And I think he will. I think Pavlovich is going to struggle a bit to keep the fight on the feet. But there's such a good chance, man. Pavlovich just has that style to knock out Curtis Blaydes in the first round, does he not? It's not like Curtis Blaydes doesn't have a good chin. He has been KO'd 3 times. By Ngannou and Derek Lewis. Ngannou twice, so don't take that too much into, you can see, 3 OK loss, 3 KO losses, he's got no chin. Curtis Blaydes can take a shot, but he's taking shots from some of the heaviest hitters in UFC history, so of course he's getting KO'd. So I like Curtis Blaydes in the matchup. I think what he's going to do, I think he's going to take down Sergey Pavlovich, and I think he's going to probably get a ground and pound TKO in the matchup, maybe in like the second round. A lot of people are kind of thinking first round. I think there's definitely live opportunity for first round, but so look at the odds. I lost them. I did a dumb. What is the odds of a fight doesn't go the distance? Okay, there's no odds at the moment. It's okay. It's alright. It's alright. We'll live with that. Blaydes by submission and route. Yeah, these odds aren't updated, unfortunately. We don't have props right now, which completely makes sense. I understand that. But, yeah, I like Blaydes. I like Blaydes by TKO in the second or third round. I like Pavlovich by KO in the first. So maybe what you could do is I don't know if you could even profit that well doing this, but what I would try and do is maybe do beat Curtis Blaydes inside the distance, and then try and hedge it with a Pavlovich KO in round 1, and see if you can try and work something out like that. Odds this fight doesn't go the distance will be like minus 500. There's no way this fight goes the distance over 5 rounds. There's no way at all. This fight's going to get a finish. Maybe you could parlay that. I mean, there's no way this fight goes the distance either way. I do have Blaydes. I think Blaydes is going to take him down. I like Pavlovich, I really do, but the guys that he's beating are pure strikers that aren't going to try and take him down. Curtis Blaydes, if he fights like I think he's going to do, he's going to drop down and he's going to take down Pavlovich, or at least he's going to put the idea of the takedown in Pavlovich's mind, and then he's going to be a bit more tentative probably. So, give me Curtis Blaydes by TKO due to ground and pound, maybe second or third round. I think Pavlovich is going to be live for the first minute of every single round. But after that, it's all Curtis Blaydes time, taking him down. So we don't know how good Pavlovich's takedown defense is, though, because no one's really got the opportunity to try and take him down. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I really do feel like there's such a good chance we see Blaydes get TKO second or third round. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think of my picks. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this card. Yeah. Oh, this is a terrible intro. This might be the worst intro I've ever done, but I just recorded a 26-year-old video, 26-minute video. Worst outro I've ever done. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. That is the worst outro of all time. So hopefully you guys, if you stuck around this long and you haven't liked the video yet, you've got to like the video because that outro was absolutely shockingly bad. I'll see you in the next one.